He went from viral rages and wild moments to nearly being cancelled. iShowSpeed was once the internet's most controversial streamer, loud, reckless, and unpredictable. But behind the chaos was a teenager just trying to figure it all out. Now he's on a different path, a smarter one, a stronger one. How did he turn hate into growth? What changed, and why are people finally starting to respect him? This is the unexpected redemption story of a kid who refused to give up. Nobody expected a teenager yelling into his webcam to become a global star, but that's exactly what happened with Darren Watkins Jr., better known as iShowSpeed. His wild reactions, constant screaming, and over-the-top antics made him a favorite among millions. But behind all the jokes and viral clips, his journey wasn't smooth. It was filled with controversy, mistakes, and moments where it felt like he might lose everything. This is about how he turned it around, finding a second chance. Speed's rise was fast. One moment, he was just a regular kid gaming online. The next, he had millions watching him every day. He barked, he raged, he danced. People couldn't look away. But with fame came a dangerous mix, an audience that pushed him to go further and further for views. At first, it seemed harmless. It's just a loud teen being silly on stream. But slowly, the jokes got darker, the stunts got riskier, and Speed started crossing lines that even the internet couldn't ignore. One of the turning points was when he got banned from Twitch. This wasn't a slap on the wrist, it was a clear message. You've gone too far. His behavior on one of Aiden Ross's live dating shows led to that ban. What started as a joke was deeply inappropriate, and the platform didn't give him another chance. It could have been the end for many streamers. But Speed wasn't on Twitch alone. He had a massive following on YouTube and kept going there. But the same problems followed. His style didn't change overnight. He shouted at teammates in games, insulted strangers, and acted out in ways that kept getting him into trouble. One time, he made a sexist comment during a game of Valorant. The clip went viral. The company behind the game stepped in and banned him from all their games. Again, this could have ruined things, but instead of crashing, Speed bounced back. What helped him survive wasn't just his fan base, but how he responded. For once, he didn't make excuses. He owned up to his mistake. He apologized, not just to the company, but to the community watching. He even explained how the toxic messages in his chat pushed him toward that outburst. It wasn't a perfect apology, but it showed growth, and people noticed. This moment didn't change everything at once, but it started a shift. Speed began to see that his influence mattered. He wasn't just a kid yelling into a camera anymore. Millions were watching, and some were kids looking up to him. That awareness slowly started showing how he carried himself on camera, and that's where things began to turn. Even though he was starting to show signs of growth, Speed still had a lot of learning to do. A few months after the Valorant ban, he made another huge mistake. On the 4th of July, he decided to light fireworks inside his room indoors. The result was chaos. Fire shot across the room, smoke filled the air, and his mom was heard panicking in the background. This wasn't just dumb, it was dangerous. He could have set the house on fire, but instead of being cancelled, the clip blew up and helped him grow even more. And that was the pattern. Speed would do something reckless. People would call him out, and somehow he'd gain even more fans. But that can only last so long before it catches up with you. That moment came during a sponsored live stream with a shady crypto company. Speed promoted a low-quality game backed by a questionable group. He told fans to follow and invest. Many were kids. When fans called him out, he tried to hide the criticism by telling his moderators to delete the word scam from chat, but he forgot to mute his mic. The whole conversation was heard. This was different. People were angry, not just because he backed a sketchy product, but because it felt like he was using his fans. People who supported him now felt betrayed. His usual, "I'm just a kid" defense didn't work this time. Even his chat turned on him. It was one of the few times where people didn't just laugh it off. Eventually, Speed admitted to working with the company, but instead of posting the truth on his main channel, he quietly uploaded the confession to a smaller channel, hoping it wouldn't get noticed. That made things worse. It looked like he wasn't truly sorry. He was trying to save face. YouTubers like CoffeeZilla exposed the whole scam, and millions saw it. For the first time, Speed's reputation was seriously damaged. But something happened after that. He started to slow down. His content changed just a little. He still did the wild stuff, but it wasn't as mean. He started talking about his family more, bringing his dad on stream. He got more serious about religion. He stopped barking so much, and he kept pushing his love for soccer, especially his obsession with Ronaldo. It was almost like he was finding a new purpose, a better direction, and then the impossible happened. He met Ronaldo, the real one. After years of shouting his name, wearing his jersey, and copying his celebrations, the moment finally came. Ronaldo walked out to meet Speed, and Speed cried like a kid meeting his hero. For all his jokes and chaos, that moment was real, pure. Fans saw the human behind the character, which changed how many people looked at him. It proved that no matter how messy things get, people can change. And for Speed, it looked like redemption was finally starting to stick. Meeting Ronaldo didn't mean much to Speed. It changed how people saw him. It reminded everyone that under the loud, chaotic persona was just a young guy with big dreams. After that emotional moment, Speed seemed more grounded. He didn't stop being entertaining, but there was more balance in how he acted. He didn't always scream or cause drama. Sometimes he just played soccer with friends, showed love to fans, or shared parts of his real life. Then, he took things even further. Speed went on a massive tour around the world. From Europe to Southeast Asia, he visited countries that usually don't get this attention from American celebrities. And wherever he went, fans showed up in huge numbers. People chased his car, packed into streets, and even entered buildings to glimpse him. Some of it was wild and honestly scary, but it showed how big his impact had become. He was no longer just an internet star, but a global one. He caused so much excitement in some cities that the police had to step in to control the crowd. In Peru, he was even named mayor for an hour. That sounds like a joke, but it was real. Political leaders recognized him as a streamer and someone who could unite people. And it wasn't just about being famous. Speed started doing more positive things. He raised money, donated to people, helped fans, and constantly told his viewers to care for themselves and others. It wasn't perfect. He still had some stunts that went too far, but he was trying to change, and people noticed. Eventually, Speed hit new records. He reached over 30 million subscribers and broke YouTube livestream records, but the most significant shift wasn't in numbers, it was in how he carried himself. He started thinking more before acting. He showed more respect for the cultures he visited. He admitted when he messed up, and slowly the world began to forgive him, not because he was perfect, but because he was learning. This wasn't just the same kid who barked at his webcam. This was someone growing up in front of millions. And even with all the missteps, it started to feel like the best was still ahead.